It was hailstones a minute ago. I think they're still there. There you go, Mad. A bit of rain and wind weather for you on a Sunday afternoon here in sunny France. We've just had our dinner, which of course body clockwise was late because the clocks went forward last night, so I'm going to carry on upstairs. So I just thought I'd show you a bit of weather. So I'm up here now. Cat's on the bed. Brought another mouse in. She doesn't care. She tends to bring them in this sort of weather, so that I think they must be easier to catch in the rain, and then she fetches them in. So we were at Joe's yesterday, and as you saw, I did a walk around the village, and that's the furthest I've walked outside like that for a long time. And I'm thinking that the last few weeks of walking, forced walking indoors and up and down to the chicken run, and dealing with workmen and whatever, who's built up my stamina, which is pleasing, and it's I feel much more comfortable today. I've been walking backwards and forwards to do the dinner, and stuff's in the utility room, and it's in the garage, and I feel much more comfortable. I feel like around my hips and the muscles around my back are much stronger again. So I'm quite pleased about that, because that obviously bodes well for Canada. And if we get Mark sorted out with the rheumatology appointment on Wednesday, I think we'll both be relatively fit. Neither of us been fit people. I did back in the 80s. I used to do step classes. I used to walk. I used to do a lot of that back in the 80s, but it wasn't my norm. It was forced, and I've talked about that before anyway. So yeah, it feels quite good. This morning I've cleaned in the bathroom. I have stripped the bed, and Mark has put the shark over up here, and which really needed doing, and all the way through and down the stairs. I mean, it's pointless doing any lower than that because it's just a building site downstairs. But it's nice to have the top floor where we're living a lot of our time, spending quite a bit of time. It's nice to have that cleaned, and we have the energy to do it now. We haven't had the energy to deal with it because we've just been dealing with. So I suppose, what is it? We've been firefighting, whereas now we have time to, let's do this, let's do that. So I'm quite pleased about that. We've got a bed to make up, obviously, because I've stripped the bed. So that's always a pain in the arse having to do that. I have to set the timer. I've set the timer on the phone because there's nothing worse than coming to bed at, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock at night and discovering that you haven't yet made the bed up. So I've set the timer for us to do that later on today when we've both got our second wind. What else? Oh, there's washing that needs folding that's come out of the tumble dryer, but we've got no surfaces to put it on as we fold it. It's sitting in the basket waiting to be folded somehow. That really needs bringing upstairs so that we've got a bed to put it on as we fold it. So we'll have to do that. We're going to go out tomorrow and buy grass seed, meadow grass seed. And I'm going to see if I can pick up some packets of wildflower seeds and throw them all over where the microstation's been installed, just to improve what will come up there. Because what happens is when you have bare earth like that, which we've had here several times, is what comes up there are the weeds, not the grass. So we're going to chuck that down whilst it's still wet and that sort of weather. And at least this spring, there's a chance it will look pretty before it gets completely dug up by badgers and moles and chickens and sheep. And, it's because it is a field, it's not really a garden. And of course it's full full of wood, trees that have come down, and the wood there, it's not picturesque at all. Some of the bamboos come out. He took out a metre of bamboo, and I'm going to take a photo of that and see if I can advertise it on Le Bon Coin. I think maybe somebody might want to buy some really mature bamboo, and it's still in the root balls. There's 3 big lumps, worth a try. Sell it. So yeah, it's yeah. So I need to get from Christoph tomorrow. I need to get the contact details for the electrician so I can chase him a bit and get things moving. Otherwise, we'll just be in limbo and not knowing what's going on. I've said in a previous video, a previous vlog way back, that what I find with French people is they don't automatically offer you information. So you're left without the knowledge that they're holding in their head. So it's like Christoph told us the other day that this is what's going to happen, and there's nothing going to happen next week now, but he tells us that at the last minute. There's no I'd like to plan my life, but I can't. It's like it's like there's no taking into account that other people have lives too that they need to plan things around. So he doesn't know we're going to Canada. I'm going to have to talk to him about that next time I see him, so that he knows we are on a deadline. He might not be, but we are. So the shutters are going on between the 3rd and the 6th of April, which is great. They're going to look lovely. They just look. I love them. I love them. They look lovely. The window frames are all meant to be painted, and the doors are all meant to be painted as well. But until we get a good week of dry weather, and then a week following on, they're not going to be able to do that, because the wood's getting really damp where it's not been protected for quite a while now, where it's burnt off in the sun. It's weathered, and so all of the coating has burnt off in the sun. So it's going to need to really dry out before they paint it. There's no rush to do that. That's not a top priority. The top priority for us is to get the interior sorted before we go away. I had to stop because I was sneezing. So we need to get the interior done. That's the most important thing. Exterior can be done as and when, and it doesn't matter if that's still continuing or going on when our house sitters are here. We watched last night, what's it called? Adventure Across the World? Adventure Across the World, I think it is. It's a reality program. We don't watch really reality programs, but because it's set in Canada, and it's 5 couples competing against each other for a prize at the end, by travelling as quick as possible on a limited budget, from Vancouver to St. John or Newfoundland. And we sat and watched that last night, with them starting off in Vancouver and then working their way up to Prince Rupert. So it was quite nice watching that. I think Mark was getting a bit irritated with it because it's a reality show and we don't really watch those. But I said to him, well, it's nice though, because we're getting to see bits of Canada and seeing how it all works. They've got no mobile phones. They've got a map. And it was funny. They were in Stanley Park in Vancouver, and you see a couple of them, and then they open up the map, and it was like us of months and months ago now. We bought a map of Canada, and we opened it up, 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 and it got so big that Mark had to cut it down. And so they were doing this. They weren't cutting it down, but they were going, oh my god, it's so big. So that it obviously means that there isn't a smaller map than that exists, I don't think, because they got the same size map we got. Yeah, so they get no mobile phone. So you can't Google stuff. You just having to use your initiative, talk to people, ask questions. Good. It's good. It's quite entertaining. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. So that's that. Yeah, that's that. It's cleared up now. No rain, bit of wind, but it will be back. Hope you're having a nice Sunday, and I'll talk to you again soon.